Coming to Korea to teach English is a dream for many people from the Philippines. But it can be difficult to get the right visa if you don't have the right experience and the right qualifications. Today I'm going to talk about which visas you need to teach in South Korea, and I will also do an interview with an English lecturer at a Korean university that is from the Philippines. To teach English in South Korea, you need the right visa. The E1 visa is for anyone teaching at a university. Those can be difficult to obtain because you need very high qualifications and the right experience. E2 visas are more common. They are used for people teaching at public schools and also English academies or Hagwons. But to get an E2 visa, you need to be from one of the English-speaking countries. America, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. But it is possible for someone from the Philippines. You need a D2 visa or a D4 visa. These are student visas or training visas, and normally you come to Korea, you study something, and you teach part-time at an English academy. Another way is getting an F5 visa or F6 visa. That is for someone who marries a Korean national or someone who gained permanent residency. Next, I will interview my esteemed colleague, Azaneth. She has worked at Korean universities for a couple of years, so she has a lot of experience and interesting stories about teaching in South Korea as someone from the Philippines. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your history?
Okay, so my background is that when I was in the Philippines, I was working in the bank. I was a supervisor for, a government project.
How old were you when you first started? How old were you?
I started at the age of 18 because I landed a job just before I graduated college. Then I was working in the government for 4 years as an HR officer. After that, I got married, and then after being married to my ex-husband, and I worked in the bank for 2 years. After that, I worked as an HR manager or department head for about 4 or 5 years.
A lot of experience with HR.
Yes, and then I saw this classified ad, hiring for a teacher, for a professor to South Korea. So then I submitted my application, but I was not really qualified, because the requirements where you should be an English major, and then this and that. I tried to submit my application, and then on the first day of the screening of the documents, and they said, "Oh, I like your experience," and then like that. So they said that, "Okay, please come back next week and please bring your TOR and then
TOR,
transfer of record and diploma and then all other documents." So I said, "Oh, I'm praying, to get this job because there were so many applicants in the Philippines coming from different universities.
Lots of competition.
Yes, and they graduated from reputable schools."
What major did you study?
Actually, my bachelor's is computer science.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And my master's is public administration. And then I went to law school because I wanted to become a lawyer. And then I had my doctorate in management, and then I had my doctorate of philosophy in human resource management.
You've studied so many different things.
Yeah, I have 2 doctoral degrees.
From which universities? Sorry for interrupting you.
Yes, it's okay. University of Cebu, De La Salle University, and then University of Bohol, so many universities. And then, but they started, they started asking me, are you really capable of, teaching English? And then I said, I don't know, but you can try me. Then I did not expect. But then they called me for an interview with the employer from the university, and then there were like 30 applicants coming from different universities in the Philippines. They were really, really fluent in English, and this was my goodness.
Yeah.
I was really, I was really
Nervous.
scared and nervous, and to be, I was not really confident to get a job.
Was it? So you were living in the Philippines. Did you come here for the interview, or was it a Skype interview? Or
It was not, because the university has a linkage with other universities in the Philippines, and then they had an office, a Korean office there, where it was managed by I think 3 Korean people from the university. They interviewed me. They asked me if how many English subjects did I take when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I said I think I only had 2 English subjects that I had before, and then they said you have to take the international exam.
Okay.
In order for you to pass this, the second step of
The
the
interview
application.
process.
And then after that, I was able to pass the exam, and I said, congratulations. The next step is to go through the interview from other directors of the university, and it was like, yeah, luckily I was able to get a job. And for more than 30 applicants, I was the only one who was granted an E1 visa from the Philippines.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. I was very lucky to have this, that kind of job way back in the Philippines, because I did not pay any single cent for that.
Yeah.
It was a direct hiring from South Korea to the Philippines.
Wow.
Yes. And
Because
then,
they had an office there.
yes. Yeah, and then after that, I went through medical checkup to check if I am physically fit to work here in Korea.
Yeah.
After that, I went through visa processing, and then 2 of us were accepted to sign the contract, but then the other one was declined. Her visa was declined. I don't know what happened. So it came out to be that I was the only one who was granted an E1 visa. I was hired through a local newspaper in the Philippines, Sunstar.
It sounds like it was meant to be.
Yeah, the time I was an HR manager. I was a department head of 32 branches in the Philippines. It's
But
an investment company.
you've already had your master's and your doctorate.
Yeah,
by
I
then?
did. Yes.
Okay. And then you found this in the.
I know. Before I came here, I didn't have my doctor's degree yet, but I had my law school.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the Korean employer gave so much weight on the law school.
What year was this?
It was in 2009.
Oh, still a long time ago.
2000.
That's
It's
maybe
been like 10 years now, right?
10 years
Yeah,
ago.
10 years.
Wow.
And the first time I came here, I was hired by Wonggang Bagonde Hakyo in Julapukdo, Iksan City.
Okay.
So I was working there for 5 years,
Oh.
and then luckily I said I wanted to go back to the Philippines to stay for 6 months, because I had an application in Ireland and I was accepted to work in the bank.
Wow.
But then I forgot that I submitted some applications to the universities here before I applied.
So you just sent out a few applications.
Yes, and
just
then
to
3
check.
universities called me up for
Yeah.
an interview, and then I came here all the way from Iksan.
I don't remember any of the questions I was asked in the interviews. Do you remember any?
Yeah, the first question they asked from me is, tell me about yourself, and then tell me how you teach your students in Iksan.
Yeah. You've had 5 years of experience teaching.
Yeah, because I felt that I was not really good at teaching at that time, because my major is not really, way back in the Philippines, I was not into teaching.
Yeah, you were more in HR and banking.
Yeah, I was also teaching in the Philippines, but computer science, computer subjects. yeah,
So,
programming.
that's interesting. So as a teacher, what do you think is your strength as a teacher? What makes you...
The strength is that when the students are motivated to learn and they participate in the class, that's my greatest strength in, you know.
Getting them to participate with activities and
I
stuff.
think most of the teachers want their students to be motivated, to participate, to be attentive in the class, right? But because if they're sleeping in the class, you would be feeling like demotivated to teach them. Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
How was your experience in Iksan? So when you first came to Korea, it must have been very
My
scary.
goodness. It was really scary because the first time I came here, it was like, I didn't know how to teach them. The students in Iksan was zero knowledge. They could not even introduce themselves in English. You have to
Very low level.
write on the board and how to introduce yourself, like my name is blah blah blah. And when you ask them questions, they would be like looking at you and then in Iksan, in the university in Iksan, we work like 9 in the morning until 5.
Wow, so it's a 9
5
to 5.
days in a week.
Yeah.
So it's like 40 hours, right? 8 hours
How
per
many
day.
classes? Every full
More
classes?
than 8.
Yeah.
The school granted us an accommodation for each one of us, but it was like 20 minutes away from school. We had to transport, we had to take the school bus to get to the university.
Okay, but 20 minutes isn't bad, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. We're so used to living so close.
Yes.
So it's so easy to walk. But I think, you know, if we're so lucky as teachers here that in other countries, other jobs, people have to commute for an hour or 30 minutes. So I think our lives are okay when it comes to commute. How about Korean culture? Did you?
The Korean culture.
How was that adapting to it?
It was really, in the first 2 years of my work in Iksan, it was really hard for me because I used to be doing this and to be doing that, and then and I said, no, it's not.
So you try to adapt.
Yeah, I tried to.
And assimilate to the culture.
Yes, and the food, you know, in the first 2 years was like, oh my goodness, I used to be eating a lot of Filipino food, so I cooked Filipino food. And after 2 years, I was able to, you know, adapt the
Korean
taste,
cuisine.
the Korean cuisine. Yes, like that.
But I think it's tough because especially if you live on campus and you work 40 hours a week, you only have weekends. It's really demanding on your life because you can't really do the fun things in Korea except on weekends.
Yeah, we usually at the end of the teaching hour,
exhausted.
we usually feel so exhausted and we went directly to bed and then the next morning let's go to. But you know, the university was really good.
Okay.
Especially the president, they treated us so well. So, but the pay was really small.
Not as much as you would have wanted.
It was like 1.5. We started at 1.5.
Very low. Did you get vacation?
We only had 14 days. 7 days, 7.5 days in summer and 7.5 in winter, including the travel time and the travel days.
That's basically like a hagwon, like an academy in
really?
Korea.
In academy?
That's my first year in Korea, I worked at an academy. Worked from 1 to 10, 1 to 9, 1 to 10, and you had a week of vacation. And public school is the same. I think public school you get 2 or 3 weeks, but you work from 8 to 5.
Yes. Yeah. It was, you know, it was really, but it was okay, you know, because I enjoyed my stay. I enjoyed my work there. So we had like, in each of the class, we had like more than 20, maybe 25 students in the class.
Okay, large classes. And so you finished at Iksan, and you made plans. You said, "I've had enough. This isn't for me." And you might have gotten a job in Ireland.
Yes.
But you sent some applications to universities.
Actually, I did not really expect to get a response from the universities, and then it so happened that I was called by 3 universities, and then when I compared the pay, this one is much better than the other universities. So yeah, and they said, Dr. Yan said, congratulations, you're accepted for the job, and like that. So the first time I worked here, I taught here, it was like, oh my goodness, this is much different from the other university.
Yeah.
And it was like,
But in a good way?
I was really nervous, you know. The first 2 semesters of my teaching career here, it was like, oh my goodness, am I doing well? Because I scolded one of my classes. I scolded them because they were just like playing in the class when I was in the Washington. So when I came back, they were like, oh, shouting like that. They were like playing. They were playing like.
If they behave like children, they should get scolded like children. No, that's fine.
I was crying in this room.
Was that like your worst experience this year?
That was the worst experience. Yeah.
But in general, the students have been okay.
Yeah, they have been okay, especially this semester. I have the best classes this semester.
Every semester they bring out the marks, and have you noticed yourself improving?
Yes, very much well improving. So the score is getting up higher and higher and higher. The highest that I got was 92.
Oh, that's good. 92 is very good.
The lowest was 78. Way back in the first semester, I thought.
Why have you improved your score? What happened with your teaching?
Because I asked the students what kind of method that they would like me to apply in the class, and my teaching will suit the needs of the students.
Do you think you were born a teacher, or do you think over time anybody can become a teacher?
Anybody can become a teacher, right? It can be a skill or it can be a talent, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're talented, talent could be like singing, skill you can acquire that through experience, right? And through formal education. But then I think I just acquired the skill of teaching through experience.
Would you say you've become more confident in your ability and in yourself? So every year, every time you do it more and more, your confidence grows, or
yes, my confidence grows. Especially
with
if somebody would tell me, oh, you're doing better, or you're doing well. So it's some sort of like a motivation for a teacher.
If somebody
especially
tells
the students. Because usually my students, at the end of the class, they usually clap their hands. It's like they feel like they're satisfied.
They accomplished something.
The way how I teach them. So it feels like, oh my goodness, at least I feel like rewarded for all that I've done, because you use a lot of voice, right? We talk too much. But in my class, on the first day of my class, I said, I'll be doing 15 minutes of talking, and the rest will be done the worst.
Nice. Okay. Do you think not being a native speaker, or coming from the Philippines, where you had to also learn English on your own, at school or by yourself, has that helped you to be a good teacher or a better teacher?
Yes, because the Philippines, the official languages in the Philippines are English and Tagalog.
Yeah.
Okay, so the medium of instruction in the school is English. So it really helps me a lot. Filipinos are known to be really fluent in English.
Right. A lot of, I think there are a lot of Koreans that actually travel to the Philippines for some summer camps and English camps.
Yes, because Philippines is famous for English studies. Because Filipino teachers, there are so many Filipino teachers who are really good teachers.
How about so I've noticed this is that online teaching is becoming a big thing, and I've seen that perhaps there are some Filipino online teachers that do either Skype teaching or phone. I'm not sure about phone teaching, but at least Skype teaching. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I know that. The school that I worked for before, 5 years, they have an online teaching.
Wow.
So it's like we work offline and we also work online. So we have students in the Philippines, Koreans who go to the Philippines, to a Korean school, and then they're going to do the online teaching through Skype.
through Skype. These days, I think the market is really is expanding. Is you get these websites, so it's not through a university or school like where you can teach Chinese students or Korean students through these companies. You know, I'm very impressed by you, the fact that you studied so many different things and you're constantly looking to improve yourself and trying to find, you know, more certifications or things to put on your name, you know.
Yeah, it's really, you know, for the Filipinos, it's really important to have your certificates and you join a lot of organizations because when you apply for a job, it's going to
count in your favor.
Yeah, very big points in the employment. The documents, you know, your experiences are more important than how you present yourself during the interview because it would back up, it would support the way you are.
Gives you some confidence. I have this.
Because we're living in a highly competitive.
If there is someone in the Philippines that wants to become a teacher, what advice would you give them?
First of all, they have to be an English major. Second one is they have to have a 900 score in TOEIC. It's very important. And then third is they should have a great work background.
What does that mean?
It means that they should have been working in a very reputable company in the Philippines because more weight was given to me for the acceptance of my application. I was working in big companies in the Philippines. It's like a government agency.
So they respected you for that?
Yes. Yeah, when they're given the opportunity to appear on the interview, they have to dress up well and they have to give their best in answering the questions because on the preliminary process of application, it has to be, you have to bring out the best of you.
I shot a video before about how to do an interview, and one of the tips I said is be memorable. There are going to be 30 other people.
Yes,
you have to stand out and you have to show the best possible side of you.
Right. First impression is very important.
You're going on vacation.
I thought you were going to say, you're going to ask, are you going to get married? Okay.
No,
so
I mean...
the future is uncertain.
Yeah, but no, I mean, are you happy in Korea?
I am, but there are times that I feel so lonely because I have no one to go off with and then I feel like I'm engrossed with, you know, my life is always school, home or something like that. But totally, I'm enjoying my life here.
Yeah, actually...
I'm planning to stay here for a long, long time. As long as I have a job in here.
Yeah, because it's convenient and you get the vacation.
Are you happy? You've been here for like more than 10 years?
Yeah, well, I've had different jobs, but I love the work at university and I love having my free time. But a part of me is also, you know, what people don't realize is that it is also very lonely. You know, you spend a lot of time in your apartment alone instead of going out, and especially if you don't have, like I have friends around here, I don't spend as much time with them during the week as I would like to, but I don't feel like I've got a family or group of people around me, you know, and it makes me sad because I think about my life back in South Africa and I felt, you know, the culture, the food, the people, I really miss that, and here you're very isolated. And that's one of the negative things about teaching in a foreign country that you have to get used to.
But I like it here more than the other countries because I was also working in Dammam, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Wow, yeah.
Yes,
how was that?
Yeah, it was okay in Dammam, but it did not last long because I did not like the place.
Is it like a year? How long did you stay there?
In Dammam, 2 months.
And then you're like,
like
no, I'm out.
It's really hard.
Yeah. What about the other Filipino teachers? Do you know many?
Oh yes, in Daegu they have like more than 4 Filipino teachers, and in other universities there are so many Filipino teachers in South Korea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think let's almost finish. Are there some last thoughts, last things that you want to talk about?
I have none.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to be, interviewed by you, and I hope I'll be able to help you, whatever you are in.
Thank you so much for having the interview, because I'm very interested to learn a little bit more, and I'm sure it will be helpful to people out there too.
Oh.
Yeah.